Welcome to Detachment Diaries. This channel is about situationships, emotional patterns, and personal growth. I share stories from my past, not to shame anyone, but to understand myself and learn. If you relate to patterns of attachment, ambiguity, or emotional cycles, you're in the right place. This video is about a different kind of connection. Not chaos, not convenience, not emotional roller coasters, but something in between. I matched with this guy on a dating app. It happened during a complicated period in my dating life. I had just gone through situationships and emotional cycles. One dynamic ended, another didn't work out. I was still figuring things out. I even thought I had feelings for someone else, another connection that ultimately wasn't reciprocal. When that didn't work, I went back to the dating apps. Not because I was desperate, but because I wanted to explore something lighter, something without heavy expectations. That's when I matched with this guy. He lived nearby, he was good looking, definitely my type. And he had something that caught my attention, a private pool at his house. That was his opening line in the dating app, that he has a private pool. And it became part of the plan. Dinner first, public setting, conversations, getting to know each other. I even brought my swimsuit, not because I assumed anything, but because swimming was part of the evening idea, if we get along well. I liked the plan. Casual, fun, no pressure. And when we met, the chemistry was good. There's banter, easy conversation, the kind of talk where time passes without effort. I enjoyed hanging out with him. He was interesting, charismatic in his own way. So after dinner, we went back to his place. We swam. It was relaxed, not dramatic, just two people spending time together. And that night, we became intimate. It was my first time experiencing something like that with him. And it surprised me in one way. He liked things I hadn't experienced before. I was nervous. It was new territory. But I trusted that he knew what he was doing. I went along with it. And after that first date, I stayed the night. I didn't plan to. I thought I would leave in the morning, but I ended up staying almost a full 24 hours. That tells you something. I enjoyed being there. I liked the company. I liked the vibe. And part of me wondered, could this turn into something more? Not a relationship. I wasn't looking for labels, but maybe something consistent, something regular, a connection. We met again 2 weeks later, same structure, dinner in public, conversation, back to his place. I enjoyed it. The dynamic was easy, but I also started noticing something. He was avoidant. Communication wasn't strong. Replies were inconsistent. Sometimes I would message and wait. Sometimes there was silence. Not the dramatic silence of past relationships, just casual distance. At first, it bothered me. In earlier situationships, silence would trigger anxiety. I would spiral, overthink, wonder what I did wrong. But with him, I approach it differently. I told myself, this is casual. Expectations should match reality. If he doesn't reply, that means he's busy or not available. It doesn't mean something is wrong. That shift in mindset mattered. I stopped chasing. I stopped overanalyzing. I allowed a connection to exist without demanding more. And on the third date, I was the one who asked him out. We watched a movie, Same routine, dinner, time together, staying over. On the fourth time, I invited him again. This time, he ghosted. No reply, silence. I spiraled for a moment, not in the way I used to, but emotionally, you still notice it. You wonder, did I do something wrong? Did he lose interest? Is this over? Eventually, he replied. He was honest. He said he didn't see long-term potential, that what we had was not meant to be serious. It wasn't delivered harshly, just direct. And I actually appreciated that. Clarity is better than ambiguity. In past relationships, I dealt with mixed signals, hot and cold behavior, unspoken expectations. This was different. He communicated his limits. He wasn't leading me on. He wasn't pretending. So I responded. I'm not looking for something serious either. I just want something casual. Well, not super casual, but a connection that aligned our expectations. We continued, but I adjusted mine. I understood where I stood. No fantasies, no assumptions, no pressure. Over time, we became something like friends with a sexual aspect. I know that sounds clinical, but language matters. It wasn't a relationship. It wasn't deep emotional commitment. It was a casual thing. And that is okay. Here's the important part. I didn't spiral. I didn't obsess. I didn't turn it into emotional chaos. I accepted the terms. I communicated. I respected boundaries. And I learned something. Not every connection needs to become more. Not every dynamic requires deep meaning. Some relationships exist for a season, for fun, for companionship, for experience. And that can be healthy if both people understand it. We even traveled together twice, not as a couple, not with romantic expectations, as travel companions. We explored places, had experiences, no pressure, no labels, just two people enjoying the moment. Sometimes there was sex, sometimes there wasn't. And that didn't create drama because we understood the limits. I also realized something about myself. I didn't actually want a serious relationship with him. I liked him as a person. I enjoyed the chemistry, but we weren't emotionally or sexually aligned in a way that suggested long-term compatibility. He was rough in sex, something that wasn't comfortable for me. And outside of that, I didn't feel a deep emotional connection. I liked hanging out. I liked the casual aspect, but I didn't see a future. And that's fine. You don't have to force feelings. You don't have to manufacture that. You can appreciate someone without needing them to be everything. Over time, we communicated less. Not because of conflict, but because life changed. I became busier. My priorities shifted. He moved to another country. The connection became occasional. Messages here and there, updates, no expectations, no pressure. I even invited him on trips sometimes. Sometimes he came, sometimes he didn't reply, and I treated silence as an answer. That is emotional maturity. You don't need to assign meaning to everything. You can simply accept what is. What I learned from him is important. A casual connection can be healthy if Expectations are clear, boundaries are respected, communication is honest, you don't spiral, you accept limits. The problem in past dynamics or relationships wasn't casualness. It was ambiguity, mixed signals, unspoken expectations. With this guy, we avoided that. We understood what we were, and that allowed the connection to exist without damage. It also taught me you can enjoy someone's company without needing more. You can appreciate chemistry without demanding commitment. You can have experiences without attaching deep meaning. That is freedom. And it is different from detachment. Detachment is emotional regulation. Freedom is acceptance. Looking back, I don't regret it. I learned, I grew, I understood myself better. Not every relationship needs to be a lesson in pain. Some teach lessons in boundaries, in communication, in knowing what you want, and that matters. This video isn't about judging the past. It's about understanding it, because understanding leads to better choices.